It seems reasonable to call the in-person on-site presentation theater. There's a performer and an audience who show up at the same place at the same time. The performer stands in front of the audience, does their bit, there's some applause, some questions, and everyone leaves once the talking stops. Most people in an audience are at least somewhat aware that their attention, or lack thereof, influences the performer and the people around them, and that people who aren't aware of this make the experience less pleasant for everyone. Audiences are also, from a practical standpoint, there because they have made at least some effort to be so. Because of that, they have certain expectations of and commitments to the performance. Audience members are not quick to abandon a performance. If someone walks out, they're generally embarrassed or making a statement, or both. In turn, presenters can be very aware of the audience. Seeing how audience members respond to particular moments can change both the experience and the content. For presenter and audience alike, theater is a social performance. When we move a presentation online, most of that is just gone. There will be people watching, hopefully, but without influence, commitment, coherence, or presence, it's no longer reasonable to even call them an audience. Rather, they become viewers. Viewers are unbound by social expectations. They need not be wearing pants. Viewers can participate without leaving their home and make a performer go away without leaving their chair. Turning off a video is neither an embarrassment nor a statement. In other words, as long as presentations are online, they're no longer theater, they're television, and television is a very different medium than theater. When I talk about the craft of presentations, I focus on the three most material aspects: words, space, and time. So in attempting to transform presentations for online viewing, it makes sense to examine how this new medium affects each of these aspects of the craft. Still and always, words constitute the fundamental mechanism of presentations. For an on-site presentation, I strongly encourage presenters to write their presentation. Online, that only more. And when I say write your presentation, I mean a presenter should write every word they intend to say in the order they intend to say them. A script. Improvising the spoken portion of a presentation based on loosely sketched bullet lists has never been terribly effective, and is even less effective online. For most, standing in front of an audience improvising is difficult. Sitting in front of a camera, more so. Virtually all media where there's a presenter sitting in front of a camera speaking, they're doing so with the help of a teleprompter and a script. They do this because unintentional pauses, stumbles, and gaffes are far more distracting online than they are in person. Performing well online means presenters will not only have to write a complete script, but they will have to perform it as cleanly and precisely as possible. This would be incredibly daunting if it weren't for one massive advantage to online presenting. Online, there's absolutely no reason to give a presentation live in real time. Presenters can pre-record the presentations, and they can do so in segments. This is an incredible opportunity to make a presentation as well written and well performed as it can be. The technical requirements of this are fairly low. If a presenter has PowerPoint and a laptop capable of doing a video conference, they have what they need to pre-record the presentation. There are mechanisms within PowerPoint that allow presenters to record narrations, with or without video, as part of each slide. For those willing to invest more time in this, there are a myriad of options. Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android all have built-in recorders and free or relatively inexpensive video editors. And of course, presenters can always choose to enlist the help of someone like me. So if presenters want to go even further into this, there are more options than I can list, and I'm sure even more solutions will appear in the coming months. It's difficult to overemphasize how important audio fidelity is. It's unwise to rely on a built-in microphone in any phone or computer. Using the headset microphone that comes with most phones, it's an improvement, but investing in a good quality microphone is highly recommended. Writing a presentation always makes it better. Hopefully this notion of creating a tangible, permanent, reusable presentation will make the idea of writing it seem more palatable. An unavoidable consequence of presenting online is that everything just got a lot smaller. Now, of course, there is some proportionality. Viewers sit closer than an audience ever could. But even with this, both the presenter and their slides will appear considerably smaller. Average laptops have 13 to 15-inch monitors, meaning it's safe to bet you and your slides will be about the size of a large holiday postcard. This will vary, but with phones and tablets, it's as likely to be smaller as it is to be larger. The most obvious consequence of this is that busy slides with small text just got worse. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time telling presenters what they do wrong. Eliminating everything bad doesn't make something good. Good presentations are made up of good choices. But that's where presenting online could actually help, because it means we have the opportunity to make better, more deliberate choices about what appears on the slide. Space on slides should be reserved for analogous images, illustrative figures, simple graphs, clear tables, and short, deliberate phrases. There's also the issue that depending on the software used to facilitate the meeting, it may not be possible to broadcast the presenter and their slides simultaneously. I've seen a version where the presenter is displayed in a postage stamp-sized box at the bottom right corner of the slide. This is a problem in a couple ways. Humans are visually drawn to two different things: faces and movement. When a broadcast features a large static slide with a presenter and a small video in the corner, viewers can look at the slide briefly, but their eyes will be continually drawn back to the tiny image of the presenter. Making slides with images, video, or animations that will hold an audience's attention as well as a moving human face does takes considerable skill and time. So unless a slide contains something particularly essential or compelling, the safest choice is to dedicate most of the screen to the presenter most of the time. For some of us, myself included, appearing on camera isn't a particularly pleasant experience. Do it anyway. Most people acclimate quickly. At least with a pre-recorded presentation, we can get used to it without the additional pressure of doing so in front of live viewers. There are some basic tips to make presenters look better on camera. The first and easiest trick is to elevate the camera, so it's not looking up the presenter's nose or forcing them to look down, burying their chin in their neck. The camera should be pointed directly at the presenter, with the presenter's eyes approximately 1/3 from the top of the screen. If it's a laptop webcam, keep the screen at 90-degree angle and put it on a couple textbooks. Speaking of webcams, most web and phone cameras do a lot better with more light. Light from in front and just above the face looks most natural. Turning off overhead lights and putting lamps just behind the camera will help. Make sure there's more light on the presenter than on the room behind them. If the sunlight is consistent, windows can make great light sources, but they make terrible backgrounds. The goal of all of this is not professional glamour lighting. It's just to make it clear for the viewer and comfortable for the presenter. So utilizing this far reduced space means we'll have to change how we understand the role of slides in a presentation. Where on-site presentations let the audience decide what they would look at, presenting online means viewers will either be looking at the slide or the presenter, and it's the presenter who decides what the audience looks at. Sort of. But at this point, it's less an issue of space and more one of staring at a fixed point in space for a long time requires deep concentration. Normally, eyes move. For on-site presentations, this is fine. The audience's gaze will drift around the presenter's face and around the room. Online, the relevant space is much smaller, so the more the viewer's eyes move, the less of the presentation they see. Having the presenter's moving image will do a certain amount, but online presentations need to be faster and shorter than on-site ones. Television is paced considerably faster than theater, and academic presentations tend to be extremely slow theater. Academics have a difficult relationship with time, and once again, presenting online exacerbates this. Any presentation benefits greatly from being more concise, but in order for presenters to move quicker through their content, they will have to become aware of rhythm. Rhythm is how humans perceive and organize time. Make no mistake, I am not suggesting presenters try and be musical. I don't want people to rap, rhyme, or howl. Prose can still be prose while having a rhythm. Being more rhythmic is about creating or acknowledging patterns in the content and then reproducing them in time. Rhythm is the sound of efficiency. When an engine, factory, or heart are rhythmic, it means they're working well. Same is true for a presentation. Presenters will benefit from writing shorter phrases. Write the presentation, speak it aloud, then rewrite it so it sounds good spoken aloud. If you can't find the rhythm in your presentation, listen. Say the same thing the same way every time, and only change when that change connects to a change in meaning. Rhythm is about finding the balance between repetition and variation. Rhythm isn't just about sound either. We can identify, create, and alter rhythms in how what is said pairs with what is shown. Presenters can use slides to show information, but they'll work best when they also reinforce the presentation's rhythm. Ironically, academics are often told to slow down when they present, but this is almost never because of pace and almost always because they're arrhythmic. Examining the rhythm of a presentation will significantly help online presentations be shorter, more engaging, and easier to understand. Now, I know for many people who have to do presentations, they wish they could just show up, talk about what they want to talk about, and be done with it. And I appreciate that. Most people we want to see present, we want to see because they have excelled at something that isn't presenting. And if just showing up worked, I'd be all for it. But most of the time, it just doesn't. The unfortunate truth is that content does not automatically translate. If we choose to mediate content, then the rules of that media apply. If we write, grammar, syntax, and style matter. If we use visuals, space matters. If we want to do these things in time, rhythm matters. If we stand in front of an audience, then that audience matters. And if we present online, the absence of that audience matters.